All right, welcome back to Pitchfest submission checking in. I'm working on stage 2 today. It is now the day after yesterday. I went through all of them. Basically, it's the day after the last video that I did. I went through all of them, or finished going through all of them yesterday. So out of 162, I ended up with 32 greens. 32, like, yes, I'm interested in seeing more of these. So first thing I'm gonna do, or actually basically what stage 2 essentially is that I'm gonna look at all 32 of those. I'm gonna read the pitch letters again, and I'm gonna take some of those out. Ideally, it would be really nice if I could slash that 32 number in half. But we're gonna, I don't know that I don't know that that'll happen. We're gonna see. I'm gonna do one single pass, and we're just gonna get rid of as many as we can, and then I'll do another. I'll kind of go through these until I feel like I've whittled them down as much as I'm able to whittle them down just from pitch letters before I move on to stage 3, which is like starting to read, first chapters and things. So yeah, that's the thing to do. We're starting at 32. It would be really nice to get that down to like 15, 16. Don't know that that's gonna happen, but we're just gonna see what happens. So, because the thing is now that I have these 32 that I feel like I read these and there was something in that was like, yes, I'm interested in that. I'm interested in seeing more of this. I want to see more of this. And I was basing that based on the entire 162 that I was reading. And so they're kind of in, for lack of a better term, competition. I don't really view this as like a competitive thing. This isn't a competition, but they're being referenced against the entire 162. Now that I have these 32, I'm reading a pitch letter in reference to the other 32 that I've also decided. So now I can start kind of whittling that down further and further. So that's just what I'm going to do here. Also, you can see the timer going because it's currently Sunday reading night, and this is what I'm doing my Sunday reading night, reading. Comedic adult fantasy. Oh, this one did sound fun. It's also fun to look at them again and see like, oh yes, this is why I marked this green. This is why I liked this. Comedic adult fantasy satirizing the hero's journey from the perspective of a failed wizard mentor. Fun. This novel has been professionally edited by a developmental editor. Not a thing that is required for submitting to Pitchfest by any means, but is nice to see. The first 3 that I've gone through didn't do anything with, didn't stop those, didn't get rid of them. That's not great because I do need to be getting rid of some of these. I do need to be passing on some of these, but they sound interesting. I want to see. Okay, so my initial pass through those 32 is done. I wanted to get rid of at least 16, or not at least, I wanted to get rid of up to 16. I didn't do that. Did half of that, got rid of 8. So I've passed on 8 of those, and now I'm down to 24 greens. I did also mark what looks like 6 of them as particularly interesting. I'm interested in reading the first chapters of all of these, but like those 6 were particularly interesting. And actually I didn't start marking those until like partway through. So there's probably some in the beginning that are like that too. Anyway, so I have 24, and I'm trying to decide. I'm working already faster than I did on previous Pitchfest. 24 might be fine to read like the first, like maybe not the first 3 chapters, but maybe just the first chapter. Maybe I read the first chapter of these, because that typically is where I'm going to pass on even more of them. It is much easier, I think, to pass on a manuscript from the actual manuscript, like from reading the first chapter, than it is from the pitch letter. The pitch letter can sound really good, and then I get into the manuscript and I'm like, actually this isn't for me for various reasons. In the similar way that I was talking in the last video about how writing a pitch letter and writing a novel are 2 distinctly, vastly different skills, for the same reason that makes me sometimes be a little bit more lenient on a pitch letter than if I'm like kind of like wishy-washy on it. The manuscript is the manuscript, right? So like once I get into the first chapters, if I'm like, I don't love the voice of this, I'm not loving the writing, I'm not kind of loving maybe the where we've started here, I don't know. It is easier to pass on a manuscript. So maybe I start reading first chapters. I don't know. We will see. This is going to be a really short update video. There wasn't really much to do in round 2. So round 1 was really where everything was at. And essentially saying that all of my yellows are in fact reds because I had too many, I ended up with 124 that I passed on right away, and then I had the other 32. I actually don't think that math checks out. Oh, plus there was the 6 that I don't have. Actually, have I gotten pitches for those yet? I put them down at the bottom here. I have not. So yeah, then I have those 6 still. Anyway, regardless, I went from 162 to 32 to 24. That's where we're at now. I maybe start kind of picking and choosing here and there. There's one in here that is a resubmission that I'm going to take another look at because I can't tell, like they submitted to me last time as well. I got a few that were resubmissions from last time as well. And I can't tell if it has been edited. Like if I had a couple that were resubmitted to me again. They said, hey, I submitted to you last time. It's since gone through, like, this is a different version, another round of revisions, another round of edits, so I can take another look. The one that I have in here now, I'm basically just going to take a quick look and see, like, does it seem like it's the same actually, I can probably just, I have the other manuscript, so I can probably just, anyway. So that's that, a very short and quick update video. This is out of time for you guys because at the time that I'm recording this, I haven't even posted the initial, this is the third update video that I'm recording, and I haven't even posted the first, so I gotta get those, start getting those edited and posted out for you guys. But it is currently Sunday as I'm sitting here with round 2. I am working faster than I intended, not intended, but faster than I thought I would. I'm definitely working faster than I did last time. Having some sort of, like, even though the amount, the 162 is very overwhelming, having like some level of being ready, at least for more, like the last time I was expecting like maybe I get 20, maybe I get 15. So when I did 99, I was like, blue screen, how do I do this? What is that? Like, I just wasn't ready. So I have a little bit of that under my belt. So I'm moving faster than I was last time. So I think I can spend the next few days kind of chipping away at single chapters, and that should really, really help me to kind of pass on some more of these and whittle that number down and down and down. I like where I ended up last time with 4 that I ended up reading a full manuscript for. 4 feels doable. 4 feels like a good number for full manuscripts. So if I can read first chapters, pass on 20 of these, and then pick out 4 that I would like to read in particular, or if I don't end up with 4 at all and I just kind of want to check out 1 or 2, or if I read 24 and I actually don't want to continue any of them, because again, the thing that I keep reminding you guys of in all these videos, just to make sure it's kind of at the top of everybody's mind, is I could come out of this and not feel like anything particularly spoke to me at this moment in time, right? Like we talked about that in the last video of, like, it's not even just about whether these books are good. A lot of these books are going to be really, really good. There's going to be a lot of talent in here, but it really comes down to, is it the right submission from the right author to the right publisher at the right moment and exactly the right way? And like, it all comes up, there's just all these pieces that have to fit together, and those pieces not fitting together doesn't mean that there were no good books, right? It doesn't mean that there was no talent in here. It just means that perhaps we get to the end of this and none of those pieces fit together. I hope that it does, but I do also want to just keep that in your guys' mind, so that in the event that we get to this and I'm like, actually, hey, didn't find anything, just so that's not like out of the blue, out of nowhere. But I do hope that I find something. So yeah, I guess that's that. There wasn't really much to do in this video. I need dinner. Have I eaten today? No, I did. I had an early lunch. Okay, I had to think about that for a second. It's like 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock. I don't know what time it is, and I had to think about whether I'd eaten today. And there's the timer going off for whatchamacallit, for reading night. Anyway, I guess that's that. I guess this is technically update 3, but stage 2, and I will now be moving into stage 3, which is going to be reading first chapters over the next few days. Okay, bye. It is so much later today than I wanted it to be. I am just now diving back into my my manuscript submissions. It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is way later. I wanted to be starting on this at noon, and then I just had a bunch of filming to do and editing and some behind the scenes stuff and some posting stuff, and I just, like, the day got away from me. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I really kind of needed to get through the rest of these today, and I have to go at, like, I probably have to leave here at 5:15 to go do the recording for the Shit We've Read Christmas special. And usually we record Shit We've Read from home, but we do the Christmas special in person, so I have to go do that, and I will potentially be up very late trying to get through this first pass of first chapters, but we're just gonna see what happens in the next, like, hour or so. So I'm diving back in. Welcome to Manuscript Review in a new setting. I am clearly not at my usual place where I am. I'm not in my office setup at all. I'm actually dog sitting for a friend this weekend, and I am so committed to getting through this and like really buckling down and getting through these first chapters of everything and like narrowing down to the ones that I'm interested in reading that I did not bring real clothes. All I have are pajamas and sweatpants. I didn't bring real clothes. I didn't bring a stitch of makeup. There is no, like, I don't have anything to like go out and do anything if I like wanted to get distracted and like, I don't know. I didn't even bring anything. So all I have is pajamas, sweatpants, and Murphy here. Ugh. And Murphy. So Murphy is going to be my little assistant here. He is finally calmed down. Murphy is 4 months old. He's a little puppy. Oh, big yawn. He's a little puppy. So he is, oh, hello. He's got a lot of puppy energy, but he has finally settled down. So I think we're going to buckle down and do some manuscript reading. Are you going to read with me? Excellent. Excellent. I'm going to make myself some lunch and get started on manuscripts. Okay, something that we all know can happen, but I don't think we've quite run into quite yet, is that obviously when we talk about people that are submitting to multiple imprints, you know, multiple of us are getting it, there's always a possibility. So I have just come across one. I'm still reading through my first chapters. I have a few more to read the first chapter of. And there's not like, there's some that like I'm interested in continuing and I'll try here and there, but there's one in particular that is like so calling to me, and I had to like force myself to stop reading it so that I could continue reading the other ones. And I was like, it's the first one that I was like, I'm slamming this down on my Kindle so I can read the whole thing. This is so much fun. And then I go into like the chat with some of the other publishers, and somebody else is currently reading it, and they were like, I'm like loving this one so much. And I'm like, don't you dare. Don't you dare. I just got my hands on this one. Don't you dare. My God. I'm going to be so upset. Okay. Who knows? You know, I still have like maybe 5 more to read the first chapter of. And so there might be some that like really pull me in after those first chapters that like I was interested in seeing more of. But like this is the one that probably like within first paragraphs like really hit me the hardest in terms of like the voice in this is really good. I'm super interested in continuing this and like seeing more of it. And then I go into our chat and somebody else is also reading it. I'm like, don't you fucking dare. God. Okay, so I'm gonna keep reading. I have more. I have like maybe 4 or 5 more to read the first chapter of. Or actually more of that. I can't fucking count. Anyway, I'm gonna keep reading. But that one is like really, I'm so excited to read more of it. What's up? That's also a reflection. That's a mirror. Sweetheart, you're looking at yourself. That's a mirror. Yeah, it's you. Yes, it's your reflection. Are we just gonna keep stepping on my iPad? What are we doing? That's also a reflection. That's a reflection. Murphy has discovered reflections this evening, so there is a sliding glass door this direction that he first discovered his reflection in and was barking at incessantly. I put him under the blanket, and he slept there for a little while, because I figured if he can't see anything, he can't bark at anything. And I let him come out. And there's a mirror right here. He immediately starts barking at that. So we're learning reflections. I have also moved 2 of the manuscripts to my Kindle. I've read the first chapters of all... Okay, and now there's a TV there that he's seeing his reflection in. I'm gonna put you under the blanket again. I'm gonna put you under the blanket again. I'm gonna deal with this. Lay down. Lay down. No, you just stay here now, because you can't be trusted to have eyes on anything. So I moved 2 of the manuscripts to my Kindle, and I'm kind of swapping back and forth between both of them. I read the first chapters of all, but I believe there's 2 of them that I hadn't read the first chapters of, because I know a couple of the other publishers were looking at them, and I'm like, if you're going to offer on this, I'm not going to worry about like even starting it, so I just need to ask about those. There were two in particular that I was very, very keen on starting and reading more of. I had a handful of others. I mean, a handful is probably too many. I had some others that I was interested in reading a little bit more of, but I was a little bit more wishy-washy in my notes, where I was a little bit more iffy on like, yes, I'm interested in this, but it didn't like floor me immediately in those, you know, immediate chapters, but I am continuing, or I am interested in continuing. So I put the two that I was really, really keen on my Kindle, and we'll see how these go. Were I not dog sitting and were I at my own house this weekend, I definitely would have printed both of these out and been like marking out the manuscripts. But for now, this is a good way to do this. And so I'm kind of going back and forth between each of them, and we're just gonna see how this goes.